Dr. Musa, am I correct that you are a professor of Arabic literature? Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Excellent. You know, I studied Arabic,
Very good.
but I forgot. I wish I didn't forget. So I can still understand, but it's difficult for me to speak. But I can understand.
Very good. Inshallah, we will speak with each other.
أنا بكي شوي.
Maşallah, maşallah. جميل جدا.
شكرا جزيلا. سكنت في عمان ل3 سنوات.
Very good.
Nazlı Hocam başlayabiliriz. Buyurun.
Peki. Sayın Rektörüm, değerli hocalarım, değerli öğretmenlerimiz, sevgili öğretmen adaylarımız, Gazi Üniversitesi Gazi Eğitim Fakültesi Bilim Konferanslarının 6.sına hepiniz hoş geldiniz. Açılış konuşmalarını yapmak üzere sözü Gazi Üniversitesi Rektörü Sayın Profesör Doktor Musa Yıldız hocamıza bırakıyorum. Buyurun hocam.
Teşekkür ederim Nazlı Hanım. Saygıdeğer Roger Cohen beyefendi, kıymetli hocalarım, sevgili öğrenciler, saygıdeğer misafirler, sözlerime başlamadan hepinizi hürmet ve muhabbetle selamlıyorum. Mezunu ve mensubu olmakla gurur duyduğum Gazi Eğitim Fakültemizin Salı konferansları başlamıştı. Aynı şekilde bilim konferansları da başladı. Bilim konferanslarımızda da çok değerli büyüklerimizi, alanında uzman değerli bilim insanlarını, araştırmacıları bu programlara davet ediyoruz. Bugün 6.sında da aramızda çok değerli bir isim var. Amerikan Büyükelçiliğinde çok önemli görevlerde bulunan, bizim üniversitemize de özellikle İngiliz dili eğitimi alanında önemli destekler veren Roger Cohen beyefendi var. Kendilerine böyle bir programda bizim öğrencilerimizle buluştukları için huzurlarınızda da şükranlarımı arz ediyorum. Bu programın yapılmasında emeği geçen başta Sayın Dekanımız Profesör Doktor Mahmut Selvi arkadaşımız olmak üzere bugün moderatörlüğü yapacak. İngiliz Dili Eğitimi Anabilim Dalımızda Doçent Doktor Müzeyyen Nazlı arkadaşımıza ve aynı zamanda da üniversitemizin Sosyal Faaliyetler Kurum Koordinatör Başkan Yardımcısı. Bu güzel yöneticiliğinden dolayı çok teşekkür ediyorum. Ayrıca emeği geçen arkadaşlara da teşekkür ediyorum. Ben çok fazla sözü uzatmadan Roger Cohen Bey'i dinlemek için heyecanlanıyorum. Saygılar sunuyorum.
Sayın Hocam, değerli Rektörüm çok teşekkür ederiz. Katılımınız, varlığınız bugün bizleri onurlandırdı. Çok teşekkürler hocam.
Ben teşekkür ederim.
Ben şimdi açılış konuşmalarına yine devam etmek istiyorum. Roger, şimdi sözü sana vermek istiyorum.
Teşekkür ederim Nazlı Hocam, Doktor Mahmut ve Doktor Musa teşekkür ederim. Bugün burada olmaktan çok mutluyum. Affedersiniz hocalarım, yani Türkçem pek iyi değil, yani mükemmel değil yani. Sadece öğrenmeye çalışıyorum. Ve Gazi Üniversitesi yıl dönümü için tebrikler. Ve yani ABD Büyükelçiliği, yani İngilizce Eğitim Ofisi ve Gazi Üniversitesi ile uzun yıllardır işbirliği yapıyor ve yani birçok faydalı projelerde birlikte çalıştık. Ve yani bu ilişkiler ABD Büyükelçiliği için çok önemlidir. Yani ayrıca yani gelecek yıl ABD Büyükelçiliğinden bir Amerikalı öğretmen Gazi Üniversitesi'nde çalışacak. Yani English Language Fellow. Evet, burada olmaktan mutluyum bugün. Ve bugün sizinle ofimizden mesleki gelişim fırsatları hakkında konuşmak istiyorum. Ama bence en önemli şey yani fırsatımızı paylaşalım. Yani Türkiye'de İngilizce eğitimi koşulları hakkında daha çok bilmek istiyorum. Ve ben de çok yıldır öğretmendim ve eğitimciydim. Evet, davetiniz için teşekkürler. Konuşalım bugün. Teşekkürler.
Çok teşekkürler Roger, davetimizi kabul ettiğin için. Okay, so now I want to switch back to English with your permission. Esteemed guests, this year, as you all know, we are celebrating the 95th anniversary of the establishment of Gazi University. So we are holding a series of events this year. Since March 2020, when the pandemic hit the world, we have been dealing with immense changes, trying to address many emerging needs of our students, adapting to new learning management systems, and developing our teaching skills. Of course, we are also trying to keep our health and stay safe. Therefore, upon COVID-19, our beliefs about language learning, and language teaching have also changed and have been shaped. As a remedy for language teachers and professionals, this session will inform you about the professional development opportunities by U.S. Embassy Ankara office. But before this, I would like to give brief information about Roger Cohen. Roger Cohen arrived in Turkey 7 months ago and is now the regional English language officer at the U.S. Embassy in Ankara. He has worked for the U.S. State Department for 6 years. For the last 2 decades, Roger has been a program administrator, teacher, and teacher trainer at universities and government institutions in the United States and other countries. He holds a master's degree in TESOL from the SIT Graduate Institute and is the author of a number of books and articles. He and his wife have 2 daughters, And now it's my pleasure to welcome Roger Cohen to the virtual microphone. Yes, Roger.
Oh, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And I said it before in my not perfect Türkçe, but I would like to repeat in English. Thank you so much to Professor Dr. Musa and Dr. Mahmoud, and to you, Dr. Nazlı. Thank you so much for the invitation. I would like to thank Mertcan, who helped us with some IT issues before this presentation. And yeah, it's a real pleasure and honor to be here with you today. And as evidenced by my brief talk in Turkish, of course, learning a foreign language is not easy. So we're here today to talk about some various professional development opportunities that the Regional English Language Office offers, and maybe to get some discussion going. I would love to do that. If at any time you would like to say something, and please feel free to interrupt me, just write in the chat box. You can say, I have a comment. We'd be happy to have you turn your microphone on. And after my brief presentation, we'll have time for some discussion, I hope. So let me share my presentation. Okay, I think everyone can see that. Okay. So again, I am the Regional English Language Officer at the U.S. Embassy in Ankara, and I think many of you are already familiar with the Regional English Language Office. My colleague, who you may know, Aycan Yaman, is not here today. But at any time, even if you forget everything from this presentation, please feel free to write me at the email address below at any time. I would be happy to talk with you about just about anything. So before I start the presentation, I would like to just introduce myself a little bit. And, you know, I've given you a speech sample. I've talked for a few minutes here, so you can kind of hear, you know, what I sound like. And, you know, when I encounter English speakers, you know, throughout Turkey and countries around the world, you know, people say, oh, you sound like an American, which is true, I'm an American. However, in America, there are a number of different American dialects, as evidenced by the map here. So maybe some of you are familiar with certain American dialects. Maybe you've met different Americans, or you've watched movies or seen YouTube clips, or if you're professors, perhaps you have even studied about American dialects. So what I would like to start with, and even if you don't know, what I would like to start with is a little guessing game about which region I'm from. So you'll see a number of regions here. So I'll make it a little bit easier. I'm going to put up a poll, and it's completely anonymous. Let me launch the poll. Okay, Nazlı Hocam, do you see that, or?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so let's take a few minutes. Please guess where I'm from. Am I from the West? Am I from the South? Am I from Greater New York or Northern New England? Okay, we'll let it go for, we have about 50 votes. Okay, we'll give it another minute. Okay, good, good. Keep going. I'll stop in 10 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, so
42% think you're from the West.
yes, and those 42% are correct. Let me get out of this. So yes, I am from the West. And the West in America, the American dialect of Western English, I am a perfect example of that. Because the West is characterized by having almost no characteristics at all. It's a very flat sounding dialect. Maybe to give you a quick example, let me give you a quick example. Let me think of a sentence. So people living in the West, and this is not true for everybody, but let's say most people. So people living in the West, I would say, I talk like this. If I'm from the South, I would say, I talk like this. Maybe that's, I don't know how great an impersonation that is, but I would say it that way. New Yorkers would say, I talk like this. And people from Northern New England would probably say, I talk like this. That's a very Boston accent. So yes, I'm from the West. I have a distinctive Western accent. And here's another way to identify where someone is from in the United States. So if you ever meet an American, and this is never 100% true, of course, right? But it's generally true. If you meet an American, you can ask them this question. So I'm going to put up a poll. So what do you call a carbonated flavored, hold on, let me relaunch 1 second. Let me go to the second poll. Okay, do you see that, Nazlı Hocam?
Yes, I can.
Okay, what do you call a flavored carbonated drink? Do you call it, let me launch it. Do you call it soda? Do you call it pop? Or do you call it Coke? Okay, I'll stop in just a minute. So far soda is winning. Okay, so soda wins there. So now I'm going, oh, let me share the results. I think everyone sees that. So soda won. So now I'm going to share where you are from in the United States. Okay, so you see, so I am from Seattle, if you look in the northwest part. So I call it pop. And so I guess many people here call it soda. So you are from the East Coast or the West Coast. If you're from the South, even if you're drinking Sprite or you're drinking Fanta or you're drinking anything, you still call it Coke. So once I visited my friend, he lives in Texas, and he said, "Do you want a Coke?" And I said, "Sure." And he brought me a Sprite. And I said, "This is not a Coke." And he said, "You must be from the North." So this is an easy way to check where someone is from in America. Okay, so I am from the beautiful city of Seattle. Maybe, hold on, let me see if I can see the chat box. Has anyone here ever visited Seattle? I'm curious. Write in the chat box, please. Has anyone ever visited America? Please write if you visited America and where you have been. Please write in the chat box. Yes, New Mexico. Someone's been to New Mexico. That's a great state. Baltimore, Texas. Texas is great. LA. Okay, great. Actually, Seattle is the most beautiful city in the entire United States. I hope you get to visit it one day. So that is a little bit about me. So what I'd like to do now is to share a little bit about what our office does and to tell you what resources are available. So what do we do? What does the Regional English Language Office do? Well, we do many things. So our biggest thing is promoting mutual understanding between our two countries. And the embassy does that in many ways. We do that through the media, and we do that through various cultural programs, but a great way to do that is through English language teaching and learning. And so we work in all kinds of contexts, universities, K through 12 institutions, NGOs, to promote better English learning, more interactive classrooms. And in almost every way, we try to increase Turkish host institutions' capabilities. So that could be through teaching, that could be through curriculum design, that could be through improving testing systems. Almost anything in the field of TESOL we do. And one of our biggest goals is not only do we want to learn more about Turkey, and I would say I include myself in that. You see, I'm really trying to learn Turkish, but we want to educate Turkish people about the United States and to improve our relations. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a few of the programs that we do and how you could be eligible for some of them. So in my speech at the beginning, I mentioned English language fellows. So every year we bring 5 to 10 professional American teachers to Turkey, and we place them in various universities. And from now on, we're going to place them in English language preparatory programs. And like I said, next year there will be one in the Hazırlık at Gazi University. So if you are from a different university, or you know someone who is from a different university, and you are interested in having an American teacher there in the coming years, all you have to do is write me at cohenrf@state.gov, and I'm happy to tell you about the application process. Every year, the US State Department, that's the US Foreign Ministry, sends about 200 English language fellows to countries all over the world. Besides English language fellows, we also do a program called English language specialists. And English language specialists now, of course, because of COVID, do everything online, but they do short-term projects. and they do projects in almost anything in the field of TESOL, teacher training, curriculum design. They do speaking engagements, they do plenary speeches, all different kinds of projects, development projects at universities, short-term teacher training projects. So if your university or anyone you know at a university or even not at a university, if you're interested in some type of project and you need a short-term consultant for anywhere between 1 day and a couple of months, we would be very happy to speak with you. It's a very popular program all over Turkey. Okay, so the next major program that we do. So I realize most people here are from universities, but just in case there are some K through 12 people, or even if you know people in different parts of Turkey, one of our biggest programs is called the Access Program. The Access Program teaches more than 200 teenagers all around Turkey in a 2-year English language program, and it includes leadership skills, intercultural learning skills. The students learn about American culture. They do community service. So it's a really, really great program. And it's probably one of the most popular programs that the US State Department does. We do it all over the world. Okay, so I know many of you are probably interested in teacher training opportunities, professional development opportunities. So one of our most popular courses that we do is called Open. That's the Online Professional English Network. And every year, twice a year, we run various courses, and they're online, and they're eligible to university English language teaching students, and also, of course, professors. And they're really great courses. They're 8-week courses at the graduate level, and they're taught by an American professor, and you get a certificate at the end. And we have several different subjects, everything from teaching grammar communicatively to teaching culture, teaching young learners, using educational technology. We have a lot of great courses. So actually, quickly, I would like to ask the audience if you could maybe write in the chat box, has anyone taken an open course? We used to call it e-teacher. Has anyone taken one of these courses before? Please write in the chat box. Okay, I see Batuhan. Batuhan, could you do us a huge favor? Could you please turn on your microphone and tell us a little bit about the open course that you're taking right now?
All right, sir. Thank you for your invitation.
You're welcome.
I'm having open network thanks to US Embassy. First, I applied it. Then I have been elected. So right now we are in the orientation courses. We are having courses about how to use open program, what is American academic culture.
Great.
And so like this.
Excellent.
As soon as it ends, I will have the course about educational technologies.
Beautiful.
Which is I'm interested because of the 21st century skills.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Could we also have Doigu? Doigu says she took it last year on critical thinking. Doigu, would you mind telling the audience a little bit about your course, please?
Yes, of course. Last year I got that one. This is AE teacher program. So I attended.
Duygu, we can't hear you exactly. Can we?
Turn up your microphone a little bit.
Could you please turn up your mic?
We can hear you, but
yeah, okay.
That's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Please continue.
Yes, Duygu.
Okay, we lost Doigu. Maybe we'll come back to Doigu. No problem, Doigu. Yes, we hear you.
Great.
Okay,
Please
good.
continue.
Okay. Last year I applied AE teacher program, so spring 2020. My course was about integrating critical thinking, and it took like 8 weeks. So it was a nice time for me because it started, just the pandemic started. So I spent my time very fruitful.
Great.
So this is so nice. So in the future, I want to be in another courses again.
Great, great. Thank you so much for
Thank you
sharing,
very much.
Duygu. Yes, and it's a great opportunity to meet teachers all over the world. And how do you apply? Well, all you have to do is write me, and I'll put it in the chat box again, cohenrf@state.gov. If you're interested, please feel free to write me at any time. It's a really great course. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so I thought I would make this slide boring because the others are very interesting. So besides these programs, we do a lot of programs that are specific to Turkey. So we do all kinds of teacher training projects, and we do projects besides just with universities, you know, with NGOs and other institutions. We work with MEB on doing various things. And so, you know, when someone has an idea, say, for example, your department at a university has some type of project idea, or some teacher or group would like to do something and you're interested in applying for a grant or receiving some type of support from the US Embassy, all you have to do is contact me. And I'd be very, very happy to talk with you about your idea, and if it works, and it aligns with our goals. You know, we do many, many projects throughout Turkey. And one of them is, you know, we support various conferences throughout Turkey over the years. We've done that many times. You know, we also work with organizations such as TESOL Turkey and INGED. So if you have some type of idea or you're looking to do something, please do not hesitate to write me. I'd be happy to talk with you at any time. Okay, we're going to do one more poll. So I want you to, you're going to test yourself once more to find out what American dialect you are. So as you probably know, the English language, let's say the modern English language, has a little bit of a problem. So we do not have really a plural form of you. So sometimes it's a little weird about how we call a group of people. So I want you to imagine the people on your screen. They're, you know them, maybe they're your acquaintances, and you would like to address them as a group. So I'm going to put up this poll. And hold on, let me get to the right poll. Okay. How would you address these people as a group? Would you say you all, you guys, you, or y'all? It looks pretty even. I'll give it one more minute, Nazlı Hocam, just so everyone can vote.
Yes.
You can vote too. And there is no right answer. It depends on where you're from in the country. It depends on where you're from in America. Okay, we're almost done. I'll let everyone vote. Okay, 10 more seconds, please. Okay, so I think everyone can see. It looks like you guys won, and it's followed by you all. So let's see where in the United States people would use those expressions. Or not expressions, but the plural form of you. Okay, so you see the vast majority of America, including the West, where I'm from, uses you guys, which is very interesting because until pretty recently, you guys was kind of informal, but now even in formal situations, if there's a group, people say you guys. And the South I think some people in the audience have been to the South. They say y'all. In the South, sometimes even if there's a singular person, people in the South still say y'all. And it looks like the only state, I think that's Rhode Island, tiny Rhode Island. If you see the yellow in the north, people there say you. And of course, this isn't, true for everyone, in every single state, but yeah, I'd say it's in general true. So yeah, again, it depends on your American dialect. We have a very large country, and like I said, people, when they meet me, they say I'm American, but there are a lot of different American English dialects. I would recommend, actually, now that it's on my mind, let me go into the chat. When this, of course, not during this presentation, but when this presentation is finished, I recommend going to YouTube. And there's a great series of videos. It's called Do You Speak American? It's all about American English dialects. It's really a super program. So check it out when this presentation is done. Okay. The next resource, americanenglish.state.gov. This is the main website for the Office of English Language Programs at the State Department. It is without a doubt the greatest website for English language teachers on the internet. You can find almost any resource here. We have free downloadable PDF books. If you like board games, you can find board games that you can print. You can create your own board games. What else? If you are looking for a fun new idea for your lesson, so say, for example, we have a menu, you can put in exactly what you're looking for your lesson. So let's say I'm teaching present perfect tomorrow at the intermediate level, and I want to do a speaking activity. I would tick all those boxes. And then I would see a bunch of different lessons and activities and ideas there. It's really, really great. And also, this website has a lot of information in general about the State Department. So as maybe you can see, it's very small. If you want information on studying abroad, or there's information on exchange visas, it's really a fantastic website. There's all kinds of really great stuff on there. Check it out, please, americanenglish.state.gov. Let me ask everyone actually in the, someone says, can bureaucrats use you guys too? Yeah, I'm a bureaucrat. I'm a proud bureaucrat. And yeah, it's interesting, even in American English, you guys is almost even used in formal situations now. So yes, you guys is appropriate. My question to everyone, has anyone in the audience used americanenglish.state.gov before? And what did you use it for?
Actually, Roger, I used that with my freshman year students last year.
Yeah. What did you do? Tell us about it.
I actually looked for how to use mobile assisted language learning in my oral communication skills class, and I found many ideas from these sources. And even for our writing classes, I asked my, student teachers to read 3 different articles from the website, use their paraphrasing, synthesizing, and summarizing techniques and strategies, and come up with a reaction paper.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Both for speaking and writing purposes, they were very helpful. It's up to you, I think. It's up to language teachers how you adopt these materials.
Yes, and to give one really good recommendation, my favorite resource is this. If you go to americanenglish.state.gov, if you search color vowel chart, this is the greatest resource ever created on planet Earth for teaching American English vowels. It's really, really, really cool, and it's interactive. You can use it online. Color vowel chart. Check it out. It's really fantastic. Okay, are you interested in getting published? Do you want to publish your work? Maybe some of you have heard of English Teaching Forum. So since I believe 1969, the State Department has published English Teaching Forum. We distribute this all over Turkey, in paper copies, but it is also available at americanenglish.state.gov. You can find every issue, I think, for the last 10 years. So in English Teaching Forum, you'll find academic articles. You will find a section called Teaching Techniques, which is shorter and is less academic, but focuses on a specific technique. You will find various resources you can use in your classroom. We have a feature where we interview an English teacher for a teacher from somewhere around the world. So if you're interested, first of all, you should read it. It's really a great publication. But if you are interested in publishing your work and having your work be read by thousands and thousands of people all over the world, please do not hesitate to write me. I'd be happy to tell you about the submission process. If you think you need help about writing your article, I'd be very happy to help you. I put up my email address before. I'll write it again here for people just arriving. Just write me at cohenrf@state.gov. It's really a great place to publish your work. And read it too, of course. Okay. We're almost done, but just a couple more resources. This is very helpful. If you go to the US Embassy in Ankara website, and you go to the Education and Culture section, you will find a lot of really great, useful stuff. Number one, you will find information on scholarship, or as we call them, exchange programs to the United States. I'm sure many of you have heard about the Fulbright program. So there's information there about the Fulbright program. We have other opportunities that are done by nomination. So the Fulbright program, you apply. Other programs called the International Visitor Leadership Program, or the Teaching in Excellence and Achievement Program. These are done by nomination. They're really great opportunities to go to the United States for a short period of time. We also have the SUSI program that is, so I'm a bureaucrat, and even I forget all of the various acronyms and every single thing they mean. So let's see, SUSI is Study of the United States Institutes, and this is a 6-week program in the United States where you go to a university and you meet various people. It's really, really outstanding. We also have exchange programs for youth, like we have the YES program, that's for high school students. We have the Summer Work and Travel program for college students. College students can go to the United States and work, and they also get to travel. So some of these programs are, of course, suspended because of COVID. But there's really a lot of different opportunities. So just go here and please take a look. I mentioned grants earlier. So the Regional English Language Office, the RELO, we offer various grants, right? But also the embassy in general offers grants. How do they do it? Usually twice a year, they have a grants competition. And it is open to basically anyone in Turkey that, of course, meets the requirements and the application requirements. So if you see on the screen, you'll see local programs. And the first one is RELO. That's us. That's me. And then below that is grant opportunities. So maybe if you're not interested, but maybe you know someone who is interested in doing a grant with the United States. It's really an outstanding program, and we just finished with the recent grant competition. So I encourage you to apply. Please check it out. Go to the embassy website. Okay. A couple of quick Facebook pages. You do not need to be a member. Facebook, American English at State. This is great for your students, and it's also great for you. This is one of the most popular Facebook pages in the State Department. You see that it has almost 4 million likes. Your students can talk to people from all over the world. There are various resources you can use in your classroom. One great one, and I'll write it here. It's called Faces and Places in America. You know, a lot of people say, well, I wish we had more exposure to native speakers in our classroom. So every few weeks, there's a video no, we don't have a LinkedIn page. Relos have LinkedIn pages, not me, but officially we do not. Every few weeks, there's an ordinary American person that talks about their life, their work, etc. on this Facebook page. It's a great video, so it's a great resource for you to use in your class. Also, for teachers, we have American English for Educators. On this page, you will find great resources, but also we do a series of webinars. It's called American English Live. These are done by American TESOL professionals and professionals around the world. They're done in a series of 6. And if you participate in 4 of them, you get a nice digital badge. These webinars are really, really cool, and they are perfect if you are teaching pre-service English language teaching students. They're a really great way to interact with someone. They're really a great learning experience. So I highly recommend going to American English for Educators, this Facebook page. Let's see if we have one more. That's it. So what I would like to do is we have a little bit of time. First, does anyone have any questions about anything that the Regional English Language Office does? Or do you have any questions for me or anything that is on your mind? Nazlı Hocam, please feel free to say something if you like.
Thank you very much, Roger, for your informative talk. Well, dear guests, dear participants, if you have any question, please do not hesitate to write on the chat box directly to me, and I will be posing your questions to Roger. And Ali?
Yes, Ali has raised his hand.
Yes, please, Ali.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you very much for the great presentation.
Thank you.
Secondly, you know, American English League Teacher Development Series 10 keeps going, and today is the last session will be held.
Yeah, I believe that's right. That you're very well informed.
Yeah, I follow it, and
Great.
it was announced that those who attended 4 out of 6 sessions will earn an e-certificate and contacted their relo.
Yes.
Again, thank you for such an opportunity, and I'm looking forward to getting my e-certificate, which will mean honor to me.
Beautiful, beautiful. And before you go, could you please share with everyone maybe one of the webinars that you saw? What was it about?
Okay, today's is effective assessment practices for synchronous and asynchronous learning in an online environment. The old one, the previous ones, the five of them were all related to distant education.
Yes. Especially
during pandemic, and engaging and handling the problems which we can face during these tough times.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank
you so much. That was great. That was great. How about some more questions? And if you don't have a question, how about a comment or say anything that's on your mind?
Yes. And while we are waiting for our participant questions, I would like to say that, well, we made use of travel grant by US Embassy for our conference 2 years ago. And as a result, 10 Ministry of National Education in-service teachers had the chance to attend our conference completely for free. All their expenses are covered. Thank you for this again, Roger. And they had the chance to negotiate and to share and learn from each other and be in an international context. So now, yes, I would like to now introduce Bena Hocam. Bena Hocam, could you please open your microphone?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, great.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Roger, it was very nice to listen to you. Thank you very much. We had fun and we learned a lot. I used to work at Bilkent. I worked there for like 4 years, and we used to have what was called at the time telepress conferences. And we talked to celebrities, if I may, like Krashen at the time, which proved very useful to our students who were teachers actually. Maybe something like that could be a project. It could be done at Gazi University, or it could be a mutual collaborative effort. I've seen that it's got a lot of potential in terms of learning.
Yes, I heard about that. And if anyone out there is interested in doing that, including you, Bina Hojam, or anyone, I'm not pointing the finger at you, of course. All you have to do is write me, because, you know, we are a very small office. We do many different things, but of course, everything we do is a collaboration. So we like to work with some Turkish person. So right now, we do various webinar series, right? But I think it is a very good idea to see if we can get, you know, as we say, some of the leading lights in the field of TESOL. I would very much like to do that. I think Krashen has retired and some of the others, but some people have taken his place. So this is pretty easy for us to do. So if anyone is listening, we would be very happy to pursue this idea, and this idea has come up before. So thank you very much for pointing that out again. That's
Pleasure.
A very good idea. Thank you.
Pleasure.
And I am still being my own hero. There is another question from Yetkin. I was wondering if there are any research papers or programs published regarding the research of different American accents. That is a fantastic question. I am not a leading expert in the field. However, I have searched, you know, on Google Scholar, and there are hundreds and hundreds of them. If I could ask, actually, I'll ask my question later if there is time. It's related to the teaching of world Englishes. I believe there is a new elective for that. I have a question. But first, Nazla, do you see someone who has raised their hand? I want to see if they have a question.
Yes, we have Gülsemin Coşkun.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Gülsemin. Hi.
And thank you.
Welcome.
Hi.
You.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Mr. Cohen. Thank you for the presentation, firstly, and it was brilliant.
Oh, that's very nice of you to compliment me like that. Thank you for paying attention.
I'm a prospective teacher, and my students are not willing to speak English. I wonder how we can encourage our students speaking to speak. Do you have any guidance for that?
I could talk about that for the next 10 hours. So this is a question that every single person who is an English teacher on planet Earth asks. The very, very short answer, I will say, is that in my experience, you know, I have conducted probably 1,000 observations of English teachers in various countries. And like 80% of them have told me, Mr. Roger, I try, but my students just don't want to speak English. They are shy. Okay, sometimes that's true, and we know why that's true, but often that is not true. And I think the reason, well, let's say it this way. I think instead of, I don't want to say blaming the students, but instead of thinking about why these students are not speaking, I think it's very, very important to think about what we as teachers are doing to encourage our students to speak. And much of that depends on your instructional ability, and really the questions and how you ask questions in class are of key importance. I've mentioned this many times. Really, you know, we talk about methodology and we talk about activities and we talk about technique. But really, the most important thing that it all boils down to in the teaching of English, in my opinion, the most important thing is the questions that a teacher asks. In every class, a teacher asks something like 70 different questions. To give you a very fast example, okay, once I start talking about this, I can just go on for the next 5 hours, but I'll be very quick. I'll be very quick. So, you know, I was a Turkish student, obviously. I spoke, or at least tried to speak Turkish at the beginning of this presentation. I am an adult. I'm 46 years old. I'm a mature adult, right? When I was in Turkish class, if a teacher would ask me a question in the wrong way, I felt humiliated. And I'm an adult. And I've had decades of experience teaching in language teaching. So for example, I remember once I was in, you know, it was a big class, like 20 different people. And the teacher said, Roger, you're a really good student. Can you talk about what it's like being a relo? And you know what I did? I completely froze because I had been learning Turkish for 3 months. Okay, maybe I could say something, but I'm speaking in front of a lot of different people. So, and the teacher was very nice. I really loved her. If she's listening now, you know, no offense. But, you know, depending on the way the teacher asks the question, that can either help a student speak or that can shut a student down. So I would recommend learning or studying very deeply about how to ask questions. Someone who's really good at that, who I think is a revolutionary, maybe Bina Hojam, we can get this person. I think he is one of the greatest people in TESOL, but he's not so well known. His name is Steve Walsh. And he talks about questioning, and he calls it classroom interactive competence. And I believe he redesigned the CELTA program. This guy has a 50-kilo brain when it comes to TESOL. I recommend you read some of his books and articles. He's really, really good. I just wrote his name. It's Steve Walsh. So that's a common name. So maybe when you search him, go to like Steve Walsh TESOL or Steve Walsh Classroom Interactive Competence. And to finish answering your question, you can find a lot of great ideas for helping your students speak by going to americanenglish.state.gov. And lastly, I will say what I didn't say before. It is my job to speak to teachers and students.
Thank you. Thank you very much,
So
Roger.
I'm not finished. Okay. So if any of you would like me to come visit your class to talk about anything, I can talk to English language teachers about TESOL, or I can just come to your class to talk about anything if you're teaching K through 12 or to Hazırlık students. And I will, of course, pretend I do not know any Turkish. So I'm not saying my Turkish is mükemmel, of course not. But then, that will give your students an opportunity to force them to speak English. So I would be very happy to speak to any class in Turkey. And again, I am koenrf.state.gov. Sorry, Nazlı Hocam.
Thank you very much. Sorry for my interruption. And now I can see that my dear colleague and friend, Büşra Çelen, Dr. Büşra Çelen from Gazi University, wants to share her comments and questions. Yes, please.
Thank you, Nazlı Hocam, for arranging such a delightful event. And thank you, Roger, for accepting the invitation. Well, I enjoyed your talk here a lot. And it was, in fact, very good to see that our, sharing all those American English materials in our classes being validated by the very representative of the website. So it was very fruitful, and I can see a lot of our students, in fact, are attending the event. So I'm sure they benefited from that as well. So my question will not be as heavy, in fact, and as theoretical. I'm just curious. I mean, I'm dying with curiosity here. Maybe I missed the answer. Your poll question about, addressing people. I, in fact, chose you all. And there were 2 states which preferred that answer. So which states were they?
I forget exactly. I think one of them was you all. I forget exactly. If you write me, I will look it up again. And I will say it's done by a survey. So, like I am from Seattle, the greatest city in the United States. So I'm supposed to say you guys. Do I always say you guys? No, maybe sometimes I say you all. I think it's the same thing in Türkçe. Like, maybe there's, in Gaziantep, they say one thing, and then in Istanbul, they say one thing. But maybe, it depends on the situation. So please write me and we can talk about American English dialects. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, it's in fact wonderful. And it's my, in fact, belief that an English teacher should be aware of all of them. I mean, yes. We have to be knowledgeable about all of them so that we can introduce our students to them as well. So yes, well, I'm going to do that. Thank you, Roger, for the talk. And thank you, Nazlı Hocam, again for the opportunity.
I would like to thank Büşra Hocam for your presence here today. And Roger, I would like to continue with another question. One of our student teachers wants to learn about more opportunities for accent evaluation works. Especially he is interested in American accent and American accents. I'm not wrong. So, and he asked how to get exposed to as many materials as he can.
That's a good question. So I guess the short answer would be, again, if you go to, from that slide, Facebook, the Facebook page, you don't need to be a member. If you go, it's American English at State. American, here, I'll write it again. American English at State, or State. If you look at Faces and Places, that is a really good way to get an American accent because they're like 20-minute videos of just an American talking. So I would look at that. Also, we have a YouTube channel. It's just go type in American English or American English at State. And it has all the faces and places there. So that is a very, very good resource. I would start there.
Yes. And thank you for this, Roger. We have many other questions.
We have just a quick question. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Nazlı Hocam.
Okay.
Just I saw one in the chat box from Berke. It's okay. How different is the content in United States in terms of putting students into the center of the learning? How was your observations regarding Turkish exchange students? We are mostly hesitant about using the language. Did they overcome this obstacle after the program? If you're talking about Turkish exchange students going to America, then yes, definitely. How different is the content in the United States? Really, it depends on the teacher. You know, we have a good foreign language teaching programs in the United States. You know, the most common is Spanish, of course. I would say there are some great Turkish teachers doing some really fantastic work. But again, to go back to my previous point, you know, we talk about all different kinds of things, activities, and, you know, YouTube and educational technology, and all of that is super important. But really, I think if you want to really help your students, and you can, really think about the questions you're asking your students, how you're giving instructions. Look up Steve Walsh, Classroom Interactive Competence. That's really, really great. Yes, please continue, Nazlı Hoca.
Okay, thank you. So for, I have a question for open program. For the applicants, for example, for student teachers who are registered in ELT programs, do they have to be the fourth graders?
So it's, that is a fantastic question. So once a year, we work with TESOL Turkey on a group of 50 third and fourth year students to attend Open. So yes, you are eligible. So TESOL Turkey puts out a call for participants. It recently finished. Again, if you want to be sure you get it, I don't know to what degree you see TESOL Turkey announcements, etc. Again, please do not hesitate to write me at any time, and I'll make sure you get it. So the answer is yes.
Okay, thank you very much for this. So we have many motivated students, student teachers actually, who want to apply for that program, for the courses there.
Yes, so you are third and fourth year definitely eligible.
Okay, so good.
Yes.
Good to hear that.
Yes.
And I'm checking my chat box as far as I see.
I think that's it.
Yes, that's it. Perfect, perfect timing, Roger.
Okay, well, how about the last person? Wow, Hazem would like to share his experience at Kocaeli University. Could you please go ahead, Hazem? Buyurun.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Great.
I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm Hazem. I'm ELT student master at Kocaeli University. Actually, last year we studied a course designed by Steve Walsh about discourse analysis and teacher development. It was very great. And as Mr. Roger mentioned, we studied about using questions in the classroom, like referential questions, display questions, and about reflecting about our teaching practice. And our main assignment was about transcribing a lesson. Okay, and analyzing it was amazing. And I agree with him, totally agree with him that it's very helpful for teachers.
Yes, and if you could do me a quick favor, Hazem Hocam, just write me a very brief email to say who you are so I can write you back. I would like to talk to you more about that.
Yes, it's my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
It's our teacher, Dr. Banu Hocam, it was very nice course, and we benefited a lot, for teaching.
Great.
I think it's
please write me just a short email if you don't mind.
Sure, thank you very much.
Great. Thanks. And the last person, so Ahmet, so actually the person who we work with on the open course for pre-service teachers is affiliated with Hacettepe University. Her name is Yasemin Yelbey. I don't know if you know her or not. So you can, she's there at Hacettepe University. So yes, so please ask her about that. She's one of my favorite people in Turkey.
Okay. And Roger, if I may, one more question.
Buyurun.
Okay. Do you think using corpus in the language classroom is useful? Participant, yes.
1000%. However, like any other technique, it depends on how you use it. And you have to, of course, know what you're doing. And I don't need to tell all of you, you're all experts. So, you know, there are many course books now that are written based on corpus linguistics. Actually, we have a few articles on how to use corpora in your classroom at americanenglish.state.gov. Just go to americanenglish.state.gov. But yes, it's really a fantastic concept. And I learned something that was fascinating, you know, when they looked at, you know, when we talk about English, I'll try to be brief, Nazlı Hocam. When we talk about the teaching of verb tenses, you know, I think many of you are familiar with that chart of like the 12 different verb tenses. And they're not really verb tenses, they're kind of aspects. You know, you have present continuous, you have future perfect, you have, you know, past perfect progressive, you know, there's 12 of them. And usually in a curriculum, all 12 are taught. But what we have learned from corpus linguistics is that just a few of them comprise almost the entire usage in English of verb aspects or verb tenses. So for example, like present tense and present continuous, or even like present tense, if you look at a graph, you know, that is way up here, and then even present continuous starts going down here, and then future is here, and then the other, you know, 9 tenses are minuscule, like just 3 or 4%. So what that means is when we teach our students, we should really spend more time practicing and concentrating on the various uses of present tense in communication. As you know, there are various usages of present, you know, besides just the form. You know, when we talk about grammar, my previous professor, who you maybe have heard of, Diane Larson Freeman, who wrote the grammar book. Yes.
Yes.
She talked about form, meaning, and use. So there are various, you know, ways of using the present tense, and that happens in conversation many times for a native speaker like me. When, for example, for me, how often do I use future perfect progressive? Maybe like once a month. And even when I am a native speaker and I was an English teacher for 10 years and I'm a relo. And even sometimes when I have to use future perfect progressive, I have to think about it. I have to go like, yeah, So that gives you the answer. So yes, corpus linguistics is very, very important.
Yes, I also believe in the power of corpus linguistics. And thank you very much, Roger. As far as I can see, yeah. Okay, that's all for these questions for the moment, I guess. And yes, Roger, would you like to add anything else? Do you have any comments, questions?
I would just like to say for Dr. Musa and the administration and everyone, and you, Nazlı Hocam, you are fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. The last thing I want to say is, please write me at cohenrf@state.gov. Like I said, I'm happy to speak with your, that's my bird. Maybe you hear my bird in the background. Yeah.
We have the background voice. Yes.
The bird is so excited about English too, it can't shut up. So feel free to write me at cohenrf@state.gov anytime. Even if, you know, your students want to practice English, I'm happy to do that. That's my job. It's my job to communicate with Turkish people. Yeah, you too, Mr. Bird. If you'd be surprised, you know, like sometimes people write me and they say, I'm so sorry, Mr. Roger, to bother you, but we have an idea at my university and maybe it's not good and I'm sorry to waste your time, but we want to do this, this, and this. And it's a great idea. And we do it and we support it. I'm not saying we support everything, of course, but if you have some idea or you want to do something or someone you know would like to do something, please don't hesitate to write me. It's my job. And the last thing I will say is please communicate with me. It is a pleasure to speak with all of you. Thank you so much for developing English language in Turkey. It's really not an easy job. So I really honor and respect everything that you do.
Okay, thank you very much, Roger. We were so, we found it really useful. I mean, we found this speech, this presentation so useful. And as far as I can see from the comments and questions, your content really was interesting to all our participants. And also I would like to thank the rector of Gazi University for opening this session. And I would like to also thank again the Dean of Gazi University, Gazi Faculty of Education, Professor Dr. Mahmut Selvi.
Yes, Dr. Mahmut, thank you.
Okay.
Yalnız hocam ben teşekkür ederim. Çok sağ olun. Roger'a da çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Çok güzel bir sunum gerçekleştirdi.
Teşekkürler.
Bizi kırmayıp davetimizi kabul ettiği için de tekrar ayrıca teşekkür ediyoruz. 7-8 ay önce herhalde Türkiye'ye gelmiş. Gayet güzel Türkçe konuşuyor. Bence mükemmel. Hiçbir sıkıntı yok.
Teşekkür ederim. Teşekkür ederim.
Tüm katılımcılara da katkı verdikleri için, soru sordukları için, paylaştıkları için teşekkür ediyoruz. Çok sağ olun.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor.
Once again, I would like to thank everyone here, dear professors, student teachers, for participating and enriching our session with your questions and comments. Hope to see you all in the future Gazi University's 95th anniversary events. Stay safe and keep your health. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.